the Berlin Wall went up, nearly 50 years ago, I was a young Associated Press reporter assigned to cover this horrible event. Actually, I was supposed to go to the Congo to cover a civil war. Instead, I was sent to the capital of my own country. I saw East Berliners living on the border to the west jump from fifth-story windows. They either landed in safety nets, held out by Western firemen, or they dropped to their deaths on concrete sidewalks. They did not want to live under communist dictatorship. Our next speaker, Wolfgang Strauss, was a high school student then. In his youth, the Berlin Wall developed into a seemingly permanent reality. Mr. Strauss became a career diplomat representing a free West Germany abroad. Today, Wolfgang Strauss is the Consul General of a united Germany in Los Angeles. He is the highest-ranking German government official in the southwestern United States. He's been celebrating the 20th anniversary of Germany's reunification for several days now. I'm grateful he's driven through this rain down from Los Angeles on 405 to celebrate with us today. Consul General Strauss, welcome.
Guten Morgen, President Krüger, Mayor Tang, Dr. Simonetto, members of the faculty, students, distinguished guests, friends. Dr. Simonetto is a true friend because he made me 20 years younger than I am. He said I was at high school. In fact, at that time, I was serving as diplomat at NATO headquarters. I will tell you later about it. It was a very nice try. So, I'm Consul General here for the Southwest, and I'm delighted and honored to be with you today. As you know, a consulate in one way serves the German citizens in need of assistance, but one role is also to foster German-American relations. And I think this event today, German Days, is exactly what we need. We hope for good publicity for the modern Germany, but also to foster friendship and understanding between our two countries, America and Germany. It's a pleasure to be here. You learned right now that today is the German-American Day, declared by President Reagan in '87, when he commemorated the immigration 300 years before that date of German immigrants, but also the contributions Germans made to this country. We are also here in the beginning or the middle of the Luther decade, and I think it's a fitting place to have this event here at Concordia. The tradition, and I call it already tradition, of German Days in December started in St. Louis by Dr. Simonetto, and I'm very pleased that he found a new home here in Concordia West in Irvine, because it's a beautiful home, it's a good university, and to the president of the university and the students, I can tell you, you found a gem in the person of Dr. Simonetto, because with his initiative and his energy, I hope he will continue this tradition. In the afternoon, you will hear more about how German unity came about, how Germany changed, how the world, in fact, changed in the last 20 years, and what German unity means today to Europe and the world. I will tell you a little bit about my personal experiences, and I was lucky in a way to be right at the heart where the Western Alliance at NATO headquarters in Brussels worked out the plans and the negotiations for the German unity. But I will not tell you too many secrets, only anecdotes and facts you can read today in the papers. The mayor just said the end depends on the beginning, and to end with a very provocative question to you, simply to keep you alive and to make you looking forward to my presentation this afternoon, I have a very interesting question to you. When did World War I finally came to an end? What is your answer? Last Sunday. We speak about World War I. Last Sunday, and it was the actual day of German unity, Germany paid the last interest on the Dawes and Young bonds from the Versailles Treaty. Isn't that amazing? Thank you for having me here.
It is because of that payment that I managed to discount Consul General Grance's age, you see. So, as you enter the little art gallery at Grimm Hall, you will discover fragments of the Berlin Wall and other strange objects under glass display cases. And on the wall you will see curious paintings of the kind you might never have seen before. These are artifacts and works of art of a bygone world, communist East Germany. They were lent to us by the Wende Museum and Archive of the Cold War in Culver City. This afternoon, the founder of this astonishing institution and its associates will show you an astonishing, brand new documentary that the Wende Museum had commissioned. It is titled One Germany 20 Years Ago. The Wende Museum is unique. It has collected over 120,000 objects from the Cold War and the reunification period. They range from rare documents to uniforms of secret police generals. You can read about all this in my story, East Germany on the Pacific, in your folder. This morning, Dr. Christina Cuevas-Wolf, Manager of Collection Development at the Wende Museum, will speak to you about traces of division still present in Germany, but also signs of unity. Christina.
Thank you, Uber, for that warm welcome. Thank you to all here for making this day possible. Welcome to the freshman class. This must be a very important day for you, a big step towards your future. I'm very happy to be here as well. I would like to speak about the exhibition Traces of Division, Signs of Unity, and how it makes use of objects to tell two stories about East Germany, also known as the GDR, German Democratic Republic. You might wonder, how is it possible for the same objects to tell two different stories about division and unity? The objects selected for this exhibition, on the one hand, represent what was characteristic of East German culture, and on the other, they are evidence of the destruction and dismantling of that very culture, which occurred after the Berlin Wall fell in 1989 and during the process of social, political, and cultural changes that led to German unification. East Germany is both a communist and a German state. It existed as one side of a divided and ideologically antagonistic nation, and just as GDR culture was being dismantled, what emerged was the continuity of underlying German allegiances that formed part of the German national narrative. Yet how do these objects selected for the exhibition, Traces of Division, Signs of Unity, represent what is characteristic of East German culture? This head of Lenin represents the standardized image of this revolutionary leader, who became the head of the Soviet state during its initial years, and the architect of Soviet socialism. His image in the form of plaques, sculptures, and reliefs, along with other leading personalities of the communist state, filled public spaces, offices, and private rooms in the GDR. The Lenin bust can therefore be understood as symbolizing the power Soviet and East German leaders derived from Lenin's genius and from his achievements as the true architect of communism. They invoke his name and image to legitimize their rule and adroitly selected from his speeches and writings to justify the existing social order. However, if you notice, the bust is broken, and it has required a completely new function under reunification, as it is transformed from a political symbol to a collector's item, as it is now part of our museum's collection, as well as a historical source of the vandalism that ensued after the fall of the wall. The Winter Museum has a large collection of commemorative plates from the GDR. These commemorative plates were a treasured collectible work of art that was proudly displayed on shelves, at the office, or hung on a wall. Various associations, trade unions, factories, and organizations commissioned these plates to either celebrate anniversaries or festive events. As you see in this image, this plate uses a sport event, Europe Cup winner of the indoor handball competition. And at the same time, it also celebrates on the occasion of the 39th anniversary of the victory over fascism. So there's always this influence of using sport events to celebrate even political anniversaries. Plates were also used to honor eminent individuals such as Thomas Munzer, as we see here portrayed. And they also acted as souvenirs for the masses, or as luxury items such as this Meissen plate featuring the Picasso Pista. The words written at the top and bottom of the plate, "Peace conquers war," provides us with a simple design of image and text. The first Secretary of East Germany, Erich Honecker, created the saying, "Berlin, capital of peace." Berlin strove to present itself as a city of peace, and East Germany aimed to associate itself with world peace. The image of the Pista, based on Pablo Picasso's design from 1949, expressed the East German Communist Party's aim to achieve world peace through the pursuit of socialism. East German dissidents, however, adopted this very same symbol in the 1980s to oppose the Communist Party's militarization of the GDR. And as you can see, these images, these symbols, change over time, and depending on what group embraces them, gain and change meaning as well. In the early morning of Sunday, August 13, 1961, barbed wire was strung around the apartment blocks, sidewalks, empty lots, and alleyways of central Berlin, completely encircling the western part of the city, severing neighborhoods, districts, and transit lines, and physically separating families, friends, business associates who had previously moved freely through the metropolis of 2.5 million people. Within days, this new barrier was reinforced with concrete blocks, and for the next 28 years, the 96-mile Berlin Wall evolved into a complex system of precast concrete segments, anti-tank trenches, wire mesh fences,